Hi, this is Daniela Wolf with Bestie Life, the podcast, and this is your community to support you through the little and not so little events that make up your day-to-day life. From the I've got this moments to the I just can't moments. We are here to empower all women to find and develop the skills they need to find peace, balance, and the bliss in their busy. Through solo episodes as well as interviews with amazing women who share their journey and their story and how it works for you. I hope you find the inspirations to make you laugh, think, as well as maybe rethink what you thought you knew, and connect as we realize that we are all living similar ups and downs and don't have to do it alone. So excited for you to hear this episode, and thanks so much for joining me today. Hi, this is Daniela with Bestie Life, the podcast. And today I'm so excited for you to meet Laura Cross. She is an Air Force veteran, owner of White Sands Premier Travel, as well as she owns a White Sands self-care community to empower individuals with how to find their own self-care, how to find themselves on this journey, achieve that holistic sense of well-being, and help them just thrive in their personal and professional lives. And I know that doesn't nearly capture everything, Laura, that you have been through and do. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So can you share your story that's led you across all these different areas to where you are today?
Yeah. Well, I guess kind of the short version or in a nutshell, I've always been a heartfelt person, the caregiver, the put everybody else first. That's always been my mode. And it'll be over 20 years ago now. I lost my husband December 21st of 2004 at the age of 36. We were laughing at lunch. He was dead by 10 o'clock.
Oh my gosh.
Aortic arch dissection / heart attack. Basically, they ignored his family history and they did the wrong tests. We were both, well, I was no longer active duty military at the time, but he was. So we traveled around from that. And I grew up in a military family. So I've been Air Force all my life. I tell people I did the full circle. I was dependent, active duty, dependent, now a widow. I did the whole full circle. Don't recommend the full circle, but it's what happened. And when that happened, it was a rude awakening because I had just turned 37. So for me, it was like everything came to a screeching halt. And it took me many years to finish dealing with that or figuring out my own path. But what it taught me right away basically was that life was too short to be answering to somebody else. And because within 14 months after his death, I had 3 funerals, 4 different hospital visits for friends or family that I had to go to. And I had had enough. And I wanted to be able to come and go and not have to say, oh, I need time off. This person needs me here. And so I started in travel because I've always loved to travel, but it's so much different when you travel for yourself and when you're traveling for the military. You can go on your own terms, and it's much different. So I started there. COVID came along, scared the snot out of everybody for traveling. And then that's when I realized the reason I want people to travel is to take better care of themselves. Because I don't care if you're an entrepreneur, military, blue collar, white collar, we all get in one rat race or another. We stop taking care of ourselves. We stop doing the things we love. And so that's when I morphed and created White Sands Self-Care. Still a travel agent. Travel is still important to your self-care, but I started learning all of the holistic and different modalities that were out there that could help people. And so I got to this point here to where I create communities that are judgment-free, they're holistic. And I say judgment-free because we are all individuals. We have the right to perceive and do things how we want. No one should be afraid to talk about their journey or share what they're feeling in fear of that they're going to be criticized because it's their perception and they're entitled to it. So I love building those communities and providing the resources, the education, the connections, and the collaborations. So people know that they are not alone. And that there's someone else out there that has gone through something similar and there's someone that can relate to them and potentially support them in their wellness journey. It's just a much better way to live life.
No, and I know that's part of how we connected was just how aligned our messaging was when it came to, what self-care needed to be like, not just a vacation. I think, I love vacations. I'm a travel addict, but I think people think that's the solution to burnout is I just need a vacation, when that's kind of a temporary band-aid and doesn't solve the bigger problem, as well as just that whole piece of community, hearing each other's stories. That's why I love having you and all my other guests on, because we all have our own story and journey. And while we're all individual, I think we have a lot of similarities sometimes. And when we can hear ourselves in somebody else's story, gosh, that's so validating. It's so empowering to feel like not only am I not alone, but I can do this because I can see it. Somebody else did,
Right. And depending on how you were brought up or where you were raised or your beliefs or whatever, if you're surrounded by people that don't get it or don't understand it, it's hard to move forward and do what you truly should be doing. If you've got a lot of people thinking that'll never work, or you can't make money at that, or how do you, there's a lot of gaps and stuff in there. And as far as vacations, it's actually a really good, it's more than a Band-Aid fix. It really helps you to reset. But I don't ever want people to think that that is the only way that they can
Right.
take care of themselves, because not everybody has that time or the funds. And you can just go off and take a ride up in the mountains, which all that costs you is some time and a tank of gas. It doesn't have to be expensive. It's just breaking the normal routines and doing something different. But
Mhm.
yeah, you can start by just 5-10 minutes a day and start doing things again, the things that you love, the things that you
Mhm.
put aside because you thought you had to.
Yeah. I spoke with this travel expert who talked about, just even learning how to vacation in your own town. I think if we don't treat our town the way a tourist would, we would find out so much more about it and be able to get that same type of escape and
Mhm.
reset that you're talking about as we would from traveling 500 miles away.
And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I just got done commenting on a post on a group that I am in where they were talking about what you collect for souvenirs. And I'm like, okay, I'm in Missouri now, but I spent over 35 years of my life in Colorado. So first grade on up. So when we hit there in 1974, we did the Cave of the Winds, the cliff dwellings, the Royal
Hmm.
Gorge. We had the pennants. We collected the souvenirs. We basically went there one time, didn't go back. We
Yep.
went back to Royal Gorge later on, but you get so used to it and so comfortable that this is your space that you forget sometimes
Hmm.
that you have these beautiful areas right in your own backyard that you can go escape to. So it's funny that you
Yeah.
mentioned that, because I just got done commenting about that. It's like, you kind of start to take it for granted, but
Hmm. Yeah.
it's still there.
I've got
Yeah.
Niagara Falls in my backyard. And unfortunately, I think we only go when people come to visit who have never been here before. Sometimes we try and be a little bit more intentional, like the only the Cave of the Winds, which I haven't done since I was a little kid, but the Maid of the Mist, where you take the boat into the falls, is so much fun. But again,
Mhm.
we just get caught up in our going to the grocery store, going to the gym, going to the same places versus really exploring, which is, I think, part of the wonder and benefits of travel. Would you agree that it's
Yeah.
it's the novelty of finding something new, that curiosity that sometimes we lose as we get older, that really kind of can trigger a lot of those positive benefits?
Yeah, and something else that you mentioned, and I won't mention names, but I know people that still don't even really know how to travel or vacation because they are trying to plan everything to the minute. And if weather or something else happens, oh my God, they are unglued and stressed. I'm like, that is not the idea of
Mm-hmm.
vacation. It's
Yeah.
okay to fly by the seat of your pants. Yes, have some things lined up because you may not be able to do a certain event unless you book it ahead of time,
Mm-hmm.
but it's okay if you have to pivot and you do something else.
Right.
It's not meant to cause stress. It's meant to relieve stress. But if you're going to plan it down to the T and get all upset if something doesn't go right, yeah, you're
Right.
defeating the purpose.
Well, I do think there is a difference between an adventure and a vacation. And I don't know if you want to talk about this. I know when I've traveled sometimes with my kids, depending, like when we've gone to Europe, we went to Rome. I felt
Mhm.
like there was this bucket list of things that we're only going to see once, like the Sistine Chapel, the Colosseum, like all these kind of things that we needed to see. And I always say I'd love to go back now and just be able to vacation, to wander and find that obscure coffee shop, to be there like a local versus being like a tourist.
Yeah, and so I can relate to that, but I look at vacations as an adventure.
Okay.
So to me, they're one and the same. If you're going to do a true vacation, it is an adventure. And for me, they're live lists. I don't do bucket lists. I'm not looking, I'm not looking to step out anytime soon. I'm like, I just don't like that hanging over me. So it's like, I have a live list. The more I
I
learn
love
about
that
different
term.
places, the bigger my list gets. And I don't look at it as this is the one time that I'm never going to be back. I have no
Yeah.
problem making a trip and hey, let's make the time and let's go back.
No, I love that term, the live list. I'm going to start trying to use that more intentionally, probably than bucket list. So thanks for that. So when it comes to the general self-care then within your community, because obviously it's not just all about travel, what are some of the other modalities either you talk about or you personally practice to kind of help sustain on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah. So one of the other things that I do and I've started doing recently and had the certification for is the AO voice scan. And I like that because your body is your own judge. You just have to know how to listen to it. So with somebody's voice, I can actually help them identify the root cause of what is causing them a discomfort or disease. And so I have that. I have other people in the
But can
communities.
you back up on that one? I'm gonna
Yeah.
even I feel bad interrupting you, but what
No,
is
no, no.
an
Okay.
AO
So
voice scan? Because I don't know what that is. So I want to just make sure myself
everything
and my listeners know what that is.
Yeah, so everything in this world is vibration and energy and frequencies.
Okay.
And without digging into quantum physics and everything, but it surrounds you all the time. Even if something is not moving, the color or whatever has a vibration and a frequencies. There's reasons why spas are painted a certain color,
Mhm.
restaurants are done a certain color, because they like restaurants want to induce you to eat more and drink more so that you buy more. Spas want you to relax. Even colors have their own vibration and frequency. So when you're speaking, and if I was to say, like, I am Laura Cross, I am here today, blah, blah, 10 seconds of my voice, it takes thousands of vibrations and it finds my three highest frequencies and my one lowest ones. And then it tries to optimize me and bring me back into balance. And by
Okay.
doing that, it will highlight the foods that are causing inflammation um, or diminishing functions in my body. It'll tell me if I'm low on vitamin B or if there. It does a head to toe. It's like a check engine light for your body. If you know you got a
Wow.
check engine light for your car, it'll tell you your chakras and your meridians. And if you're not familiar with that, think of your house. Chakras are like your circuit breakers, the meridians
Mhm.
are your wires. It's what makes us run, supports all the organs, all of the functions and stuff in your body.
Wow. Oh my
And
gosh. Thank you so much for sharing that.
yeah,
Like again, I apologize for
no,
interrupting, but I
no,
know
you're
you were
fine.
going, I wanted to make sure I understood the context of what this was and how it can help because I think that is so powerful to not even know how the vibration can translate and share all the things going on inside you. Just curiously then, does that also translate to then when we connect with others, how like subconsciously they respond to us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because one of the scans, it goes into the color and it goes into emotions. And it's 98% accurate, more accurate sometimes than your blood work because your blood is constantly racing. So anything you do, whether you do a blood test or you do the voice scan, it's a snapshot at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I had someone do it. So like I have a friend that's losing her sister and my pup had a lump. I was having a bad day. I knew it. That scan, I went ahead, I did my best, but no, it showed I had two reds in the heart chakra because my heart literally hurt
Mm-hmm.
for my pup and things, and it showed in there. And then when it gets to the colors, it would show the emotions, grief, this, and it pins up. So it's funny because if you have a trauma or something from even when you were a child or something that happened and it's still in your subconscious, it comes out in your vibration.
Hmm.
And so most people, when you look at it, you can tell them this could be now or that could be soon. But most are like, yeah, okay, that one, that's spot on. They recognize it when they see it. And because of those emotions being stuck, they they influence and they harm different systems in our body, like your liver, your kidney, the way something else is functioning, the fact that people are breathing shallow and not doing deep belly breaths. They're not getting the full oxygen. I mean, there's so much to it. And I go over all of it with informed people, and then people can make their own decisions. But I like to be able to give them information so that they can be more informed and make their own decisions.
Okay. So you personally then, are you doing these AO voice scans as, on a regular? Is it something you can do regularly to kind of check in as well as what other kinds of self-care are you practicing?
Yeah, I do those on I do on myself regularly, and plus with that tool I can actually imprint, and we won't go into that, but there's different things I can do with this tool to help. So I do that for myself, my family, friends or clients. And but for myself, I get up early, and I've gotten used to getting up earlier. So for me, after I take care of pup, feeding him, letting him out, I get on the tread climber and I knock out 15 minutes, and I slowly increase my speed and work on it because I have exercise induced asthma, or so they have told me, but I know I didn't need an inhaler for it. I just had to work up my lung capacity. So I'm up to knocking out like 3/4 of a mile in less than 15 minutes now
Okay.
without being gassed. And it actually helps energize me. I just feel more energized and ready to take on the day, knowing that I did something good for myself. If I don't do it, I may sit and read something that interests me, or maybe listen to Joe Dispenza or a YouTube channel or something that I want. But it's my time, and I do it
Right.
for at least 15 to 30 minutes. I used to
Hmm.
do things a lot longer, but since I have people I work with in Germany and Italy, my meetings can start as early as 8 a.m. So
Okay.
I do all this stuff between 6 and 8.
No, definitely. I think the amount of time sometimes we assume or think it has to be a large chunk in order to really have any benefits. So I love that you share that, it can be done in these smaller pieces in a variety of different ways. It doesn't have to be one way to really get some of those benefits.
Right. Yeah, even 5 minutes. That's what I tell people,
Hmm.
especially if they're one of those people that want to back their schedules back to back to back to back. Leave at least a 10-minute break, go to the
Hmm.
bathroom for one, but
Yeah.
just take 5 minutes to just take some deep breaths, go walk outside, go do something totally different from what you're doing. And it will really help clear your head and reset. And you can actually focus better than keep banging your head against a wall trying to, figure out or do whatever you were trying to do.
Yeah. And that was even just part of the next thing I was going to ask, like if someone's listening right now and thinking that all sounds great, but I don't know where to start, what would be some of that direction you give them? So one would be start with small, 5 minutes.
Mhm.
What are some ideas of things you would recommend for those 5 minutes?
So one of the big things, and it might take more than 5 minutes, but one of the big things I would always suggest for people to do, and it doesn't matter whether you're an entrepreneur, you're working for somebody or whatever, but take some time to just be quiet. Put away
Hmm.
the electronics, take away everything else, all the negative people that are around you saying blah, 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 whatever. Go be somewhere quiet and go inside and think about what really lights you up and makes you happy,
Right.
because if you don't light up with what you're doing, that's a really a miserable way. And it's one of the reasons people do burn out, is because they're just doing what they feel like they have to do to make ends meet, but they're not truly living their life and happy. You can make money being happy.
Hmm.
And if you don't have supportive people around you, you need to find your own tribe.
Right.
There are people out there that will support you, that know what you're doing. People don't always understand being an entrepreneur or working from home. They think you have to go do something else. People do what they have to do. I got that. But figure out who you are, because if you're just following one mentor or another, or you're just following another, I made that mistake. I
Yeah.
won't say it's a mistake. It was a learning lesson. I got to learn what I wanted to learn,
Hmm.
but I started to lose who I was because I was so busy trying to fit their mold and follow exactly what they told you. The key is to take bits and nuggets of the people that you listen to and figure out how it works for you.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, let it go.
Yeah, I think such a big part of doing what we think everybody else is doing. Oh, I saw this influencer doing this, so this must be the ticket of finding that self-care. Doing what works best for you, finding your people. And that doesn't mean you have to lose the people in your life that don't get it, but adding these other pieces is really going to help enhance your confidence in doing it, the consistency, that validation, and just even having that accountability and that support can go so far in really helping to just keep with it and not kind of coming down hard on yourself.
Yeah, and it's not forgetting the other people, but if there's someone that is constantly negative and you can just feel yourself drained and not in the place you want to be every time you're around them, you need to create that distance. They're
Hmm.
either going to rise up and come with you, or they're going to fall off.
Yeah.
It's just a natural order. And either way, however it's meant to be, you'll be better for it.
Right. I heard this quote said self-care is the new healthcare, and definitely investing in yourself. It's going to have all those benefits physically, mentally, and emotionally, which is why I know we're both just so passionate about sharing it, talking about it, and helping people find that way that works for them. So how can people find you, Laura? How can they work with you, connect with you, and get information on this?
Yes, I'm really easy to find on Facebook. You can put in Laura Cross White Sands. That's pretty much everything on my LinkedIn, on my Facebook. I encourage any and everybody to join my White Sands Self-Care community group. Introduce yourself. Tell people who you are and what you do. Because the more I think we can do together, we can do more. That's my whole thing. That and self-care is not selfish. It's essential for a healthier you. Those are my two things. That's what I live for. They can also follow my Mindful Mondays with Laura Cross TV show on YouTube or on E360 TV, because I pull in wonderful people like you and all kinds of other guests, different backgrounds, different perspectives. We may all be trying to get somebody to the same place, but we have a different way of doing it. Right. So, yeah, reach out, message me. If you're interested in the AO scan, absolutely message me and say, hey, how do I do this? And I'll send you a calendar link. Let's book you up a time, because I'm happy to do the first one complimentary for them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely want to find out more about that. And I love collaborating as well, because exactly what you said, we all may do similar things, but we never do it exactly the same thing. That'd be like, there's tons of different restaurants on there. There's tons of different Italian restaurants, but that doesn't mean they're all identical and you can love them all. So no, thank you so much, Laura, for joining us today.
Yeah, and then you couldn't have said it better, because I tell people, I'm like, everybody says, who's your competition? I don't have competition. I don't do competition. It's a collaboration. You're either going to resonate with me or you don't, and that's okay.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So definitely all those links will be live in the show notes below. So definitely connect with Laura, ask her questions, reach out and check out that community. And like I said, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much again for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please let me know any questions or comments that you have. Also, if you can please leave an Apple 5-star review so that this episode can be shared with more women. There's 2 quotes that I love. Alone we may be strong, but together we are stronger, as well as when women support each other, incredible things happen. So let's be stronger and incredible together, as well as maybe just have some fun along the way. Thanks so much and talk to you soon. Bye.